This is the Engines of Our Ingenuity, made possible by the Friends of KUHF Houston.
Today, let's talk about Emergence. The University of Houston's Mathematics Department presents this program about the machines that make our civilization run and the people whose ingenuity created them. Ant colonies are truly fascinating. I am sure you have marveled at what a colony of ants can do. They build complex structures and roads. They work together to bring down large prey. They have a complex society with well-defined roles. The famous biologist E.O. Wilson says that an ant colony is more than a collection of individual insects. It is a single superorganism. While each individual ant is a marvel of evolution, it is also a relatively simple creature. Your brain has roughly 1,000,000 times more neurons than the brain of an ant. The actions of a single ant are much simpler than those of a colony. The complex behavior of the colony emerges from the interaction of thousands of simple beings. But how is this possible? How can agents that obey simple rules create a colony whose behavior seems infinitely more complex? These are the questions that lead to the notion of emergence. A multitude of simple rules can combine into far more complicated structures. We can construct mathematical examples of emergent behavior. Consider the surprisingly simple game of life. Here are the rules described in the 60s by Princeton mathematician John Conway. The game is played on an infinite chessboard. Each square can be occupied by a cell. If a cell has only one neighbor or no neighbors, it dies of loneliness. A cell with 4 neighbors dies from overcrowding. That's death. What about life? A cell with 2 or 3 neighbors lives to another day. 3 cells surrounding an empty square will reproduce and introduce a new one into the empty space. Now put some cells on the chessboard in some pattern. Lonely cells will perish and triplets of cells will reproduce. With time, your initial pattern will shift and change. And this is where the amazing thing happens. These simple rules can lead to an infinite variety of patterns. Some look like blinking pulsars. Others appear as spaceships that embark on endless voyages. Breeders and guns shoot off patterns to infinity. This complex behavior is emergent. It is a result of the interaction of very simple rules applied over and over. Scientists often try to understand nature by trying to break things down into simple parts. This approach may have its shortcomings. Sometimes we have to ask how simple pieces come together to form a more complex entity. If you look at the world around us, we see emergence everywhere. The individual pieces of your car are far simpler than the vehicle that is the result of their interactions. Your computer performs millions of incredibly simple operations that weaved together allow you to browse the web. There is nothing mysterious here. These machines can be understood by examining how their parts interact. Will we be able to someday understand our own minds in the same way? Perhaps so, but perhaps there are some things that are far greater than the sum of their parts, and we may need to develop completely new ways of thinking to comprehend them. This is Krešo Josic at the University of Houston, where we are interested in the way inventive minds work.